Good evening, and welcome to the Writer's Block. I'm your host, John Ronan, and as you know now, because we are this evening concluding our 29th year, I talk to writers about their craft, what they're working on, what they've accomplished, what they're planning for the future. It's a pretty wide net, however. We have on writers mostly, but we also have room for other artists. We have had on sculptors, musicians, actors, all sorts of different talented people. If you have an idea for a guest who might be good for the Writer's Block, whether a writer or not, we'd love to get your suggestions. Watch for our address at the end of the program. I also want to remind you that the Writer's Block and all the other original programming that comes out of 1623 Studios is a product of cable access television. That's cable. So if you're tempted to get dish access, don't go there. You stick with the Writer's Block and Cape Ann Productions for and about Cape Ann. Tonight, I'm happy to say, we do have a writer who's got mixed talents, however. She is also a humorist and an artist and a cartoonist, and she's going to talk about a new book she just wrote and drew. Her name is Sharon Love Cook, and you may be familiar with that name because she's been on the show before talking about her mystery novels. She's primarily a mystery novelist. Some of the titles I'll remind you about are Nose for Hanky Panky, A Deadly Christmas Carol, and Laugh Till You Die. They're still out there, and she's working on another mystery novel now, but she is also a cartoonist and a humorist. She is a graduate of Gloucester High School and graduated later from Salem State and took an MFA at Burlington, Vermont. Bennington, excuse me, thank you. But in between there, she also studied art at Montserrat. So she's got a varied background, multi-talented woman, and we're glad to have her back. Sharon Love Cook, welcome back to the Writer's Block.
Thank you, John.
Glad to have you.
Well, it's so nice to be back. And this time, I think I can build on my other appearances, which sent me screaming out of the room. No, it really did. I remember my mother saw the first one. We went to a friend's house in Manchester because I live in Beverly and we couldn't get it. So we went to a friend's house and I kept screaming and my mother said, "Please be quiet. I can't hear a thing." So I kind of think I've perhaps calmed down a little bit and I've gotten a little more, I'm not an old pro, but...
Well, I thought those shows went well.
Well, they did.
I think we were very self-critical.
Oh, I know.
And we don't look like the stars we see usually on TV.
We don't?
We don't have $10,000 worth of clothes on. We haven't come out of an hour in makeup.
I know.
And got a $1,000 haircut.
Cosmetic surgery and all that.
It was fine, and this one is fine too.
I'm so happy to. I don't want to. I just want to mention that in case people think I look twitchy, because I find I do look a little twitchy. That might be from. I do have ADD. I know that comes as a great surprise to you, John, but I keep it concealed.
I don't know those technical medical terms.
Oh, okay.
I want to talk. I'm really impressed. I got to say, I am about the fact that you were a mystery novelist, also an artist. And a humorist. You have a great sense of humor. So we're going to talk about this new book of yours.
I came from a funny family. I used to say we didn't nurture each other. We put tricks on each other. We would pull tricks on each other and pranks.
Pranks?
That was our way of showing affection.
Well, that attitude comes out in the book. Yes. I'm going to hold this up.
Okay.
15 reasons why men are for now, cats are forever. I'm going to hold this up so you can see this. Tell me while I'm holding this up, Sharon, where it's available.
Okay. Well, it was available this weekend at the Baptist Church Fair in Beverly, and I brought a stack with me, and I was pleased to sell out. They all sold out. But as far as bookstores in Beverly Farms, it's at the bookstore of Beverly Farms. And there are a couple of other places I have to. They have to approve it with the the buyer, but there will be a couple of other places, and it's
Amazon?
online too. Oh,
Amazon.
Amazon, of course, and Barnes and Noble.
Barnes and Noble.
Yep.
So
the usual.
it's easily found.
Yeah. Oh,
Easy.
if you want it, you can find it, and you can also call me up. Look me up, and I will send a copy.
Okay.
Oh, I hope
All
no
right.
one does. No, I mean, I hope they do. I hope they do. but I
15
hope it's
reasons
not-
why men are for now, cats are forever.
Yes.
Explain the title, and then I want to ask you about the process. But explain the title, and we can see. We're looking at a couple of the cartoons in here.
Well, I was a communications graduate at Salem State, and I remember someone saying, one of our instructors said, if you're selling something, it's best to say like 10 reasons, to look, to clear your skin, or 10 reasons for a radiant complexion, or 10 reasons, 10 tricks, 10 tips to be sexier, to be better,
Yeah,
to be all that. And they said there's something about a number that attracts people. So I thought, well, 15 would be good. I mean, I can think of 15 reasons why, more than 15 reasons why men are for now, cats are forever, why cats are better. But I thought I would stick with 15, because if I'm going to be doing all those cartoons, now that's 30 cartoons, and I'm not a quick sketch artist. I knew I'd be drawing them for a long time. Not only that, it took me 10 years because I kept going back. I would scan them and I'd add a little highlight, and I would think, well, I've got to change this. So I did an awful lot of drawing, and men are for now, cats are forever. I thought there's kind of a balance there.
So
Men are for now, cats are forever. And cat ladies know this. I don't have to I'm preaching to the choir there.
Okay, let's look at one specific.
Okay. The cover, some people find the cover risque.
Let's look at the
Okay.
cover. I'll hold the cover up again. Can we? There, see that? There's a
Zoom
woman.
in.
A woman walking away from a table with a man and his wife at the table, and the woman in red is
Yes.
sexily drawn.
Yes,
so
she's-
let's look at
she's
that
getting all the
cartoon
attention.
in the book. There's the
Yeah.
cartoon that's used for the title.
Yes.
Excuse me, the cover page, and the cut line under is "Men like to ogle women," and opposite that is on this
Yes.
side
There
is the cat perspective, or our perspective on the cats. The line there is, "Cats like to ogle your fuzzy bunny slippers." So cats come out innocent and wiser and more
Yes.
philosophical,
More civilized.
civilized. Okay, I don't take offense at that.
I would say more
At all.
civilized. And,
Tell me now, when you get an idea for
Yes.
a line,
yeah.
men like to ogle women, cats like to ogle your fuzzy. What do you do next? Then, after you get a line, do you want to use? Or maybe perhaps the image comes first.
Let me see. I was thinking the image might come first, because there's one of them in there, and it said, "Men like to impress you with their knowledge of wines," and I actually like to draw that. I like drawing that picture. The couple sitting at the table. They're supposed to be at a fancy French restaurant with the waiter, the wine steward there, and the man, who obviously you can tell by the jacket he's wearing. It's very loud and garish and flashy, and he's talking about wines, and the look on the steward's face, he doesn't understand what he's saying. He knows the man knows nothing, but I wanted to draw that. I thought that would be kind of fun to draw, just to take in another setting too, to have this restaurant setting rather than most of them were outdoors or in the the woman in there is she appears throughout. She's a character, she's got kind of a turned up nose and the hair,
the woman in red.
frizzy hair. Oh, no, the woman, the cat owners.
Oh,
the cat owners. She's so I like drawing her, but I thought, well, this would be a good chance to see her all dressed up. She's got a gown, she's got a nice dress on and all that. So I like putting her in that setting.
You're thinking about the individual characters here.
Yeah, the individual characters and
I noticed that the cover image is also in a restaurant.
Oh, yes.
That
it is. I never thought of that, John. You're right.
Did that sort of happen? You saw some woman in a tight dress and nice figure walking by, and a husband falling over.
Well, I thought that would be a good setting. I could probably have a beach setting, but that's kind of obvious at a beach, But this is someplace. I think they're on their anniversary dinner, and he's falling out of his chair, looking at this woman, walking by, and being very obvious about it.
So these are things that you've seen different times through your life,
sure.
And then one of them will kind of bubble up, and you decide to draw that,
just to focus on that. And also another one. My son liked the one. I said men like to strike a macho pose, like to appear macho, and he's in a truck. You see, he's riding in a truck, and it's a camo truck. It's got all this camouflage, and he's the most unlikely person because this guy's such a wimp. He's wimpy looking, but he's riding in this truck. I don't know if you can see.
I'll find it. You can go ahead.
Okay, I don't know
what. I'll look for it.
I was going to say I don't know what page it is. I don't even know if those are numbered, but and he's trying to look macho, and the truck has a bumper sticker NRA, the usual things, and one of them, my son liked the one I break for beer, I break for beer, and in the back seat he's got a dog. He's got like a Rottweiler, this mean-looking dog sitting in the back, and that's I think that's pretty. Oh, there he is there, and that's kind of an obvious thing. I wouldn't say a lot of men do, but some men do, and they're not macho themselves. As you can see, this guy isn't really. He's not a macho type, but
here's the image you were talking about. The truck, the camo truck with the line under it reading, "Men try to create a strong masculine identity." And opposite that is a cat lying on its back. Cats command attention by being themselves.
They don't have to knock themselves out.
That's on this side.
They don't need these props. They're just by themselves. They're just very effective.
I notice he has a big dog in the back of the truck.
Yes.
So this is not
that's right.
This is not a dog book.
See, I break for beer.
Yes.
Yeah, that's part of the.
Tell us about the drawing process.
Oh well, I'm primarily a cartoonist. I know when I went to Montserrat, it's a wonderful school, and you will get a very broad education, but it was fine arts at the time, and this is in the early 80s. Cartooning now, it's so big, it's so popular. We have anime, is that what I'm calling? ANIME, and the other manga, the Japanese manga. That's the the Japanese drawing, a certain style that they have. That's very popular too. And now there are even cartooning colleges. I wished I'd known that then. There were.
You could start one.
Yeah. Oh well, there's one in Vermont that's very popular. But cartooning, I love doing cartooning, but you can't get beyond the fine. You have to do the fine arts. And I can understand that. That's a well-rounded, to get a well-rounded education. You have the studio, painting, and many drawing courses, and all this.
So if you get an idea for an image,
yes.
And you've got a line in your mind, what's the first thing you do? If you sit down at the desk, what do you do?
Well, I'll take out my pencil. I don't do it. I'll take out my pencil and I'll do a sketch, and then I'll take out all my pens. I've got a big thing of pens and draw it, and then I will get my paints out.
So you do a line drawing first.
Yeah, oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like a brief outline, so you'll know where you're going, on the page, and then I like to ink it in, and then after that, I'll add the color, which I think gives it, you can give it depth and shadows and all that. I do like doing the color, and then I'll scan it.
And what is your medium you're using for the color? Is it
acrylics and watercolor? Yeah, and colored pencil too. They have some good quality colored pencils. They can help you out too, but where you can really get creative, really add highlights and kind of top it off and make it pop, is when you scan it. Now I have a very, very basic. Well, I've got a 14-year-old scanner. I didn't realize it was that old. I should probably get another one, but this works, and I'm so familiar with it.
good color?
Yeah. Well, I'll scan it, and then I have a little graphics program, not Photoshop. Photoshop is huge. Photoshop takes a long time to learn. It's huge. There are many components, and so I kind of like my little graphic program.
What program is that?
Oh my good! Oh, it's Paint. Actually, one of them is Paint, and it's on my Mac. It's a very simple program, but it has everything you need. It's very basic. It's got all the colors and the little brush, and you can get very creative with it. I even touch up my pictures. Like I'll erase several years off my face.
Sure, why not?
A photo, if you can do it, yes. I'll do that. I like to touch them up. And you can add highlights to really make it, stand out.
So you first do a physical drawing.
A sketch.
And then you scan it, and then you electronically manipulate that original
the image. Yes.
Written. So you don't go to the computer first. You draw.
No.
You do line. And
I'd like to do that. I'd like to learn how to do that, but I'm so set in my ways that it's kind of like, when you were writing years ago before computers came along, word processors, I don't know if you did, if you were eager to use the word processor. I wanted to write with a pencil.
Oh, I had to be dragged into it.
Yes, I know, me too. It wasn't until, I went to college as an adult, I was in my 40s, and we had to use the computer, so I was kind of forced to. Thank goodness. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
I'm so glad, but...
so when you do the physical drawing, you're using the acrylics, and you've done a sketch. Do you go back and do 2 or 3 or 4 of those before you scan it? Or do you make just one physical image?
I'm kind of lazy that way. I don't even like to do a lot of sketches. I know people who will do like 10 sketches. If I don't get it right the first time, I get really mad. I might be forced to do a second. But I really like to stick with the first one.
And how long is that process? Say if you do
it can be hours sometimes.
Physical drawing, then you scan it, and then you work on the computer?
Let me see. It can be hours, just to get it right. You paint it, and then when you scan it, and then you're adding highlights, and you're working on it digitally.
So one image is maybe a day's work.
You're tweaking it. You can come back, and I did it for 10 years. I kept coming back and adding a little something extra. And the way it is with writing too, you put something in a drawer, in your drawer, you write something, you put it in a drawer,
sure.
And then you can come back 2 months later and say, I can't believe I did that. This is terrible. Well, that's the same thing with cartoons too.
So sometimes you throw them out?
No, I'll do more work on them. No, I don't. I'm very. I like to hold on. Stick with what I have, because if I do another one, I get very discouraged the second time. I'll think, oh, I'll never get this. So I do, and usually I'm pretty happy. I do a lot of erasing.
In your workday, do you sometimes or ever draw in the morning and then write a mystery in the afternoon? Or do you devote a month to a pictorial project and then isolate that?
Oh, well, I'll switch back and forth.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah, I'll switch back and forth. And it's good because if you're drawing, something that I've done is greeting cards for people. People will ask me, will you draw a picture of someone? It's a cartoon, I'll draw it on a big poster board. Different people are having birthdays, and they'll bring me some pictures, and I'll do a caricature, and then I'll paint it, but just getting that person, sometimes the person will come right away, it'll be right there, and I'm very happy. But other times I have to page after page, and that person won't emerge. Maybe their eyes will emerge, or their nose.
With the characteristics that
yes,
mean that
it doesn't
that person.
it doesn't jump off.
Yeah.
And once I had to say I couldn't do it was like 10 hours day after day. I just couldn't get this guy. It kept looking like Bill Clinton for some reason. And once I had that in my mind, I couldn't get this guy, and so I had to turn it down. I felt really bad about that, but I tried for 10 hours. He wasn't coming through.
If you get frustrated with art, you go to the writing, or get frustrated with writing, go to art?
I guess that is I suppose that's a good idea. But I think when you're frustrated, you just want to do something completely different.
Yeah.
You go for a walk. You walk the dog, and then come back. Because, I get so disgusted with myself. I don't want to, it's like, that's it. I'll do something completely different. Just change of scene.
I want to ask, I make sure I get these questions in, because always our audience wants to know how writers did it. Tell me about how long this process took from beginning to end, and how you went about getting it published.
I started, I tell people it took me 10 years to do the drawings, and that's because in the back of my mind I had the idea of putting it into a book, putting them together. But I think I might have been doing it, maybe thinking for greeting cards, because I've sold greeting cards, American Greetings, as a matter of fact. They bought one of my cards, and I still have never seen it. It's like they said, we don't send the cards to the artists, but you'll see it in our stores. Well, I went through each one all over the place. I never found that card, but that's beside the point, John. So I started drawing, and I remember I rented a place in Maine. I was there, and I started, and I was all alone. It was great.
For this book?
Well, I wanted to do, I did bring my sketch pad with me, and it was nice because I was all alone, no husband, no cats, no dogs, no kids, no problem. I just sat and I would draw it, and I did a lot of them that summer, those couple of weeks.
So
and so I had them, and then I would paint them, but the best thing, I really think I made them come alive when I scanned it, and then I digitally, I could add like highlights, like at the end there. I'll just show you this. The cat. You always think you can do better. Everybody does that, but I'm thinking I wished I had added more highlights. You see, you see the cat there has. You see, that's a highlight. See, I kind of outlined him.
On this one?
Oh no, on the one on the right.
On this.
You see, yes, that one. You see the highlight. The sun is coming up. It said, at the end of the snow falls. You watch the snow falling with your cat by your side. In the morning, the man has gone, but your cat remains, and the cat's lying there. And so I lit his fur up a little bit with the.
He looks like the Cheshire cat glowing there a little
yes,
bit.
Yes. And I kind of wished I had done more. I kind of wished because it looks good, but once it's printed, it loses a lot of its color.
How long did this book take from conception to shelf on the store?
This sounds crazy. 10 years. I mean, it's only 30 pages long, but I would say it was 10 years.
Of course, you're not working on it every single day.
I wasn't working on it every single day, and then I thought, well, I'm going to get these drawings together. So I really kind of forced myself to finish each drawing, do the best I could.
Was it difficult to find a publisher then?
Well, you know what was hard is finding a formatter, and they're in Australia. It's Pegasus Studio in Australia. Somebody had used them, and they recommended them, and they did the layout for my Granite Cove Mystery, the third one, and it's one thing to do a text, to do layout formatting for a text, for text because it's just print. But getting the pictures in and getting them, in a certain size and trying to put them in a book. That's why it's an odd size. It's 5 by 8.
So in our electronic age or internet age, you can have somebody in Australia do the formatting for you and just...
Well, I think probably if I had found, they're really good, but I think this is something that graphic format, when you do a graphics project, like they know, I learned a lot from it too. They told me if other people do, when you're scanning, I didn't realize I wasn't setting the DPI, that's dots per inch. I wasn't setting it high enough, so that's why my drawings didn't have much oomph, they didn't stand out. So they told me, to set it for 100, and they were huge. These were huge files, but they had to be, because to make them, stand out. They were huge files. I learned quite a bit, but I never really, if I knew then what I know now, when I did the drawings, like some of them are horizontal, some of them are vertical, I didn't think they were going to, be able to work with them. But these people are real pros. They're really good. And they were able to, you see?
A good quality, evidently, is you have to have patience with yourself and to stick to the...
Oh, yes. I have no patience at all. And that's something when I tend to, just a few minutes and I'll walk away.
Sharon, we're almost out of time.
We are?
I have enjoyed talking to you about 15 reasons why men are for now, cats are forever.
And I say it's not only for cat ladies, but a lot of cat men. There are a lot of cat men. We're buying the book at the Baptist Church. There are a lot of, so I just say it's for cat lovers.
Good, for cat lovers. Everybody's a cat lover.
Well, not everybody, John.
Well, in some sense. I like to watch them, even though I'm allergic.
They're getting better. We're growing more.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Oh, John, thank you so much for having me.
I want to thank you in television land, too, out there in cable television land, for learning, I hope, something about drawing and cartoons and humor, and Sharon Cook's new book, 15 Reasons Why Men Are For Now, Cats Are Forever. If you have learned some of those facts, then the Writer's Block has done its job. Thanks for being with us, and I hope to see you again next year on the Writer's Block. Good night.